All right, so for the mock interviews, there's a lot of things you need to know before you get in the interview. So you need to know what to do and what not to do. All right, so start off, in order to have a good interview, you want to know what to do. So for one, main thing is to be confident. You want to be confident when you're in an interview. You don't want to look nervous or anything. The second thing you want to do is you always want to make eye contact with the person. You never want to be looking to your left or to your right when you're talking. I mean, it's occasionally you would want to look around, but for the most of the interview, you want to look directly at them in the eye. Next thing, which I feel like is the most important thing, bring your cover letter and your resume. That's probably the main thing for the interview. They want to see your resume, so come prepared and make sure you have those two things. All right, so the next piece of advice I would give you is that learn from your mistakes. At the end of the interview, it's always best to ask them how you did or if there's anything you need to improve on. If they usually they'll tell you what you did wrong or they'll tell you what to do to improve yourself. And what I would say is take what they told you and apply it to the next time you have an interview because most likely it will help you when they're choosing what to do with you. Another piece of advice I would give you is to come to the interview dressed professionally. You do not want to come to the interview looking like a bum with some jeans and like a regular t-shirt. Come to the interview with some slacks, dress shoes, dress socks, and a button-up shirt, and make sure your hair is fixed and it looks nice. So the last thing I would say to have a successful mock interview is at the end of the interview, ask the employer or whoever is interviewing you two questions. It's always best to ask two questions because it shows that you're really interested in that position or whatever you're doing, and it makes it look good on your side. Things you do not want to do in the mock interview. For one, you do not want to come to the interview looking really messy. So like I said, for the things that you want to do, you do not want to come to the interview with like a shirt, jeans, normal shoes. You want to look professional. Along with that, you do not want to come to the interview smelly or like with your hair all messy. You want to look nice and you want to present yourself really, really well. Another thing is to be prepared. Don't go into the interview and wing everything. You want to know what you're talking about, and you do not want to start talking nonsense because you did not study or like research anything about what they were going to ask you or what the position is. You want to be prepared, and you don't want to wing everything. Personally, I would say one of the biggest don'ts in a mock interview is don't freak out if you mess up. It's okay to mess up in a mock interview because it's not that important. It's like a practice interview. So if you get one thing wrong, don't make a big deal about it. Just let it go and then try to focus on something else. All right, so finally, the last thing you do not want to do in a mock interview is take feedback personally. So at the end of the interview, it's usually best to ask them what you did wrong, and usually they'll tell you. So if they say you don't make enough eye contact, don't argue with them about it. Just accept that. Okay, I need to make better eye contact next time, and then focus on doing that next time, rather than like arguing like I was looking at you the whole time, you just weren't looking at me, or I only looked away because you were looking away. So just accept the fact that you did something wrong and just let it go, or just focus on doing it better next time. All right, so I would say for the business plan, it was pretty fun and it was pretty stressful. It was me with a group of three guys, and we decided to make an Italian restaurant, and we called it Palm. The reason why we called it Palm was because it was our first letter of each last name. So mine was A, my friend was P, my other friend was L, and my other friend was M. So we put it together, and it was named Palm. It was fun because we got to hang out for the whole time, and like we got to mess around with like the resume, or not the resume, the menus. And my friend, he's pretty good at like computers and stuff, so it was easy for him to like think of like designs. So we made it like a little black menu for it with like some gold fonts and like some like nice design for it. It was pretty cool. And I would also say it was pretty stressful as well because not to say any names, but it was just me and my friend doing it most of the time. And I think the worst part about it was trying to do all the financial stuff, but like within a certain time period. And we really didn't know how to do it at first. We messed up a lot, so it was pretty stressful just to like get everything situated and ready for the presentation. My first college experience was pretty weird. To start off, I decided to take health education this summer, and I didn't know anyone was gonna be there, so I thought I was just gonna be in a class with like a bunch of adults all by myself. And then the cool thing was is that I saw the professor for the first time, and it turned out to be my elementary school PE teacher, and she recognized me, and it was pretty cool to see her again. And also, when I got into the class, I noticed that there was other kids from my school in that class, so I wasn't the only one there. And I feel like the weirdest thing was seeing my friend walk through the door. And this friend I haven't seen in like 3 years, and we played travel ball baseball for like 5 years, and we haven't talked since that day. And it was pretty weird because none of us knew we were going to be in that class, and we just hung out for the whole time. We did all of our projects together. We did all of our work together, And another cool thing was I met some other dude. His name was Ken. He was a pretty cool dude. He was been in college for like 2 years, so he knew how like everything works. He helped us with like a lot of like projects, and he gave me advice on what college classes to take next time and what to do when I graduate high school. My favorite fast track experience would be my first time taking fast track, and I took Spanish 2 that year. I would say it was my favorite because we did a lot of fun things in that class, and it was a pretty easy class as well. My favorite part about being in that class was that after lunch every day we would sing songs and for like 30 minutes, and it was pretty cool to like sing different Spanish songs, learn like understand what each Spanish song was because in the video on the bottom it showed like the English text, so it was pretty cool to see the English translation to it. I feel like the hardest part of that class was our final project. We had to find a video like a Spanish song, make a video of it, and we have to like translate it in the video, put pictures and stuff. And my last favorite memory of that class was at the end of the year, the last day, we ended up having a party. So we all brought Mexican food, and we just hung out for like 2 hours, and then we went to lunch, and then after lunch we took our final. So that was my fast track experience. So I would say that my way of managing my time junior year was pretty simple. Every day after school, I would watch TV and eat food for like an hour and a half, and then right after I was done, I would go straight into working on homework. And then for career ed specifically, I would always spend like an hour and a half just on that by itself, just so like I can do it right because I know that career ed was like really like tough and you had to do everything like perfectly to get a good grade. So every day I would spend like an hour and a half working on just career by themselves, and then everything else would just be like free time or other homeworks. During baseball season, I worked on my career project a lot during like bus rides or like car rides to the games and stuff, and then I would take my free time, and then on the way back, and then when I get home, I would eat, work on it some more, and then just go to school the next day. And then for projects, I would spend like an hour on practicing my presentation the night before. And then when I wake up the next morning, the day of the presentation, I'll just glance over it for like 10, 15 minutes. So that was how I managed my time junior year.